Fantom is the prime example of the crypto market being very inefficient. Fantom went pretty nicely up in the last few weeks and months. But let's have a look at what's driving all of this. Let's have a look at who's buying and selling. Let's have a look at the potential upside from here. Because one thing is clear, the Fantom price is not increasing because its usage on the blockchain is going up. It is recently going up because of an update of the Sonic upgrade. So here's the fancy website about Sonic. It's improving scalability, it's improving transaction speeds, etc. The upgrade is currently been rolled out, and that was more than overdue. In the early days when Fantom was still used a lot, whenever a new DeFi application launched and a lot of people wanted to get on that DeFi application, the gas fees spiked massively. So the old version of Fantom was absolutely bottlenecked. At times it felt worse than Ethereum. But the price action looks a bit different now. The FTM coin, FTM token, went up by 25% in the last week. This year we more than doubled. And of course, since listing on CoinMarketCap in 2018, the price exploded and increased by more than 6,000%. But unfortunately, I can't get rid of the feeling that Fantom still is a former shell of itself. In terms of total value locked, it's now at rank 35. And its market cap relative to its total value locked is comparatively high with 18. So there's a lot of future growth priced into Fantom. Not many other blockchains have a similarly expensive valuation. Now, does Fantom actually grow? Do we see a lot of adoption now because of that Sonic upgrade? Let's have a look at the total value locked development since beginning of the year, since beginning of time. Let's simply dive into this. So here's that chart measured in US dollars. At one point, we almost had 8 billion of total value locked on the Fantom chain. Now that shrunk down to 140 million. A massive collapse. And even if we take away that DeFi summer and DeFi winter and we just zoom into the recent action, the growth really isn't that quick anymore. That's now in US dollars. Here's the same chart in Fantom token, so in FTM. And here, since beginning of the year, there was zero growth. So all of the growth in US dollars since beginning of the year happened solely because FTM itself went up. It's not because there's actual more usage of the blockchain. And so yes, there are some red flags. For example, quite a bit of activity on the perpetual futures market on Binance. So that's levered products on the price that can potentially also manipulate spot in the end. More than 120% of trading volume happened on the Binance futures market. And you might be wondering what actually caused this massive decline. Of course, there was a DeFi winter, but why didn't we see a recovery? As we have seen with many other chains, like the Binance Smart Chain, for example. The reason was that one of the main bridges, multi-chain, got hacked. So when you had funds on the Ethereum chain and you wanted to move this over to Fantom, you are using a bridge. You used mainly multi-chain, and multi-chain either through an inside job or through some other external event. All of the funds of multi-chain got drained. So when you now go to the multi-chain website and you enter the app, you are greeted with a warning by MetaMask. If you're using multi-chain right now, all your funds will be gone. All your funds will be frozen forever. The Fantom documentation now recommends to use Stargate. I am not sure if all of the USDC, for example, can now be one-on-one bridged over back to Ethereum using Stargate. I haven't tried that. It doesn't seem to make a big of a difference though. Look at this, the number of transactions on Fantom. It's hovering at a relatively low level. No growth here. Here's the number of active traders. Also, no real growth here yet. There's a lot of hopes around Sonic, but so far we don't see any actual activity in anticipation of that upgrade. Not everything is terrible though. At least there's no more token inflation. And this is probably one of the reasons why Binance feels comfortable holding the token when there's no more token inflation. So there's no more rewards for the early contributors to Fantom. Then there's no more suppression of the price. Tokens that don't inflate anymore are a nice target for short-term pump and dumps. And this is what I believe is currently happening. That's why we see the perpetual futures trading volume so high. So So here's the Fantom price in US dollars. We seem to have a floor somewhere around 16 cents. That's of course pretty far from the current price. That would be a drop of more than 80%. But I personally don't like to look that much at US dollar prices because there is a lot of correlation within crypto, right? When Bitcoin goes up, when Ethereum goes up, then Fantom tends to go up as well and vice versa. Let's have a look at the relative valuation of FTM to Ethereum because that's where most correlation happens between the altcoins and the Ethereum price. So that's this chart over here. This is FTM relative to Ethereum. And we are in a somewhat stable sideways trading range since February of 2021. And if we assume this to continue, then we've got an upside potential versus Ethereum of 43%, but also a downside potential of almost 60%. Right now, it seems like demand for the FTM token doesn't happen because of the usage of the blockchain. It seems to be simply speculation around the Sonic upgrade. Whether or not that upgrade will help with actual adoption is of course still very questionable. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish here regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. There's also a free Telegram. Link is down below.